Okay. Thank you for that.
May I say?
No, we're now going to go to the summing up. So Christina, I think, is going to sum up for your side. So, and then
some of the audience mentioned about how we can ensure the metaverse is not dominated by some big player. I think the beauty about the whole movement on Web3 is really decentralization and helping the individual communities to have bottom-up movements, to have more say in traditional places where they don't have a voice. But I agree, maybe the first thing we should really do is to ensure in the future of the metaverse, the regulation, especially the regulator, will be properly educated so they know what's going to happen. I'll give you one example. Everyone heard about the scandal of FTX recently, have you? It's massive. And if they are not, new thing, crypto exchange, but like any other kind of financial, regulations will come in to prohibit them to use a fund of clients to do all kinds of non-compliant activities. It's the same for Metaverse. So I think the compliance needs to be in place. And some of you talking about online safety, I agree with you entirely. And I'm even more worried about data protection and ownership in the Metaverse. Because with VR, AR, all the many different wearables, IoTs, voice recognition, gesture recognition, neural chips, a large number of our personal biometric data and health data is going to be automatically captured by those devices controlled by big players in the tech space. And I feel very worried that maybe some companies might use my behavior recorded in those kind of data to try to sell me something which I do not really want. And around the world, regulators are looking into this space now, but normally it will take like 1 year or two for any legislation to take place. So what can we do now? That's a major concern. That's why I think when we're dealing, students, whether they are above 18 years old or under 18 years old, online safety and content control is always absolutely #1 priority. But this area is completely gray. That's why I think we need to pause the intention to jump into the space now. But I also agree, as one of the audience mentioned, that we need to talk more about what can we do in the future when the regulation is in place to ensure this is really safe for education institutions to get involved. And then we're going to play all kinds of exciting scenarios to really maximize its benefits. So that's my second point. And my third point, I personally feel very strongly is about sustainability. Many of you probably heard about last year as a peak of the crypto hype, which is at the center of the digital space within the metaverse. Cambridge University released a report highlights the energy consumption of Bitcoin mining, and it's very, very terrifying. So the whole world, when they're doing all this kind of mining of Bitcoins, the energy consumption is actually larger than Argentina as a whole country of 48 million population. And it was so bad to the point that the White House released a report demonstrating that crypto mining has used too much electricity to the point to stop the US as a country to achieve their UN Sustainable Development Goals. And we know the COP27 has just finished in Egypt. And worldwide, we still haven't found a perfect solution to ensure the global warming is not reached 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. So if any part of the metaverse ecosystem, purely because we are going to have more simulated experience, either using VR, AR, etc., that's going to consume huge amounts of energy, more than Bitcoin mining. And also, one of the gentlemen mentioned about we don't want just one metaverse. We probably want as many metaverse as possible to provide alternative for the end user to really decide which one is best for them. Maybe we can have a children's metaverse where we have all the safe content, and we can have women's, metaverse. We're talking about, gender equality, etc. And in the perfect world, when the technology matured, we should be in a position to allow every single one of us to create our metaverse, just like create our own TikTok or Twitter social media accounts. But when that happens, imagine the world has just recently, reached 8 billion population. Having 8 billion metaverse, how much energy consumption that's going to be? I don't know about you. I do not feel like I want to live 24/7 in a metaverse and forget about all my friends in real world. That's not going to work. At least I can't eat, I can't sleep, and I can't dream in the metaverse. So that's definitely not going to work for me. So I think, in conclusion, we are here to really try to find solutions to address very pragmatic use for education. And one of the gentlemen over there, you mentioned about, during the pandemic, a lot of teachers, they are really, really stressed because they are new to online teaching and the pedagogy is not ready. And I think my biggest issue with adopting the metaverse for education now is the lack of proper pedagogical framework on global scale. If that's not in place and you want to try something for the students, how could you ensure quality for the whole, learning and teaching process? That's going to be a complete disaster. That's why I think it's better we make baby steps each time, and till the regulation is ready, till we can figure out a solution to ensure sustainability, and maybe when we can educate our, teachers when they are ready to jump into the metaverse, and then we should do that at full speed. But now, it's just not good enough. And I think we should all come back and thinking about how we should focus on the most urgent issues in the education environment and try to, put all our efforts to get that sorted. And once that's sorted, we can talk about more fancy stuff, either AI or, metaverse. That's the way moving forward. And I want to conclude my speech by quoting one of my favorite leaders. Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the most powerful tool we can use to change the world, and I believe that we can do it now, but not with metaverse." Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. So now I'm going to call Andy to sum up for the opposition.